watching the first podcast from Positive Outlook.
You just told me it was empty.
Sorry,
Okay.
That are, positively. There's so many.
But other than that, happy Monday,
Happy Monday.
and I hope you guys have an awesome week. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Gabe,
It's Caleb.
and you guys are watching the 20th episode of the Positive Outlook podcast.
20th episode.
So what are we talking about today, Caleb?
Today we're going to drill out some good points on risk taking.
Risk taking. Risk taking is so important to have in your life. Do you like taking risks, Caleb?
I love taking risks.
Yeah. What's usually something you see come out of a risk?
Usually, hopefully, reward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's always so much excitement in the unknown. It's an adventure every time.
Yeah.
It's just knowing that you're facing the unknown, and it's so exciting.
Yeah. And I read this quote. It says, if you risk nothing in your life, you risk not living. If you have risk in your life, you risk death while living. And so that kind of goes into the bigger risks in your life. Like, I want to skydive. I want to go rock climbing. These scary things in your life that you feel that have no payout. You don't really learn anything from them other than growing your comfort zone and overcoming your fears. But a lot of the times when it comes to risks like that, people are like, I don't gain anything from it. Why would I do that?
Right.
And that can lead to a life of not chasing fun and cool experiences because you don't think you gain anything from it, which could lead to a life per se of not living.
Absolutely.
And so it is worth it to chase those because you're risking death, and usually those are very safe. They have all the procedures in place to keep you alive while you do it, but then while you're doing it, you're living.
And maybe not necessarily death all the time, but there's always the quotes, and this goes hand in hand with it about those who don't take risks aren't living.
Right.
And so by death, it doesn't necessarily mean you're just gonna die.
Right.
But it certainly means that you're not living life to your full potential.
Yeah.
If you just ignore the possibility.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Living your life is so important because there's so many things out there, so many cool experiences that probably in a lifetime you don't even have time to try. So you just got to get on them and push yourself. And it does help you grow. It helps you create that stronger mental construct. And it's just it's cool to go out and do those fun things that you want to chase. Another thing I want to talk about is don't let logic scare you away. It's called a risk for a reason. If you were to do everything based off of logic, you would probably lead a pretty boring life. It would be a safe life, probably a successful one, but you wouldn't be able to do the things that push you and be able to tell the cool stories to your kids when you grow up and all these fun, cool adventures that you went on when you were younger. Because, if you do follow logic, a risk is not something you would take.
Right. Well, where's the logic in jumping out of a plane for fun?
Right, yeah.
No logic.
But so why do people do it?
Right. For the rush.
Yeah. And it's for the experience and to push yourself. Because I know I'd be terrified to skydive.
Oh, my gosh. I have the biggest fear of heights ever.
Yeah. And so that would be a really cool thing to do to trump my fear and to prove to myself that I am a stronger individual. And it would lead to a cool story and just a more invigorating life.
And I don't know if you have any of these as points for later, but at the same time, don't make decisions based just off of emotions. There's a counterbalance. You can't do everything illogically, of course.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys are staying safe.
Yeah.
Don't take stupid risks.
Yeah.
But you just, overthinkers like myself will think about a risk, overthink it. Oh, this could go wrong. Not going to do it.
Right.
So the point is just there's got to be a point where you stop thinking and just jump.
Right.
So.
And another great thing, risk taking. It generates new possibilities. Because it's an area in your life that you would not explore just in your day-to-day life. Yep. There are certain doors that will be opened and certain people you will meet by doing these fun and cool experiences or taking these risks. And it'll generate new possibilities for you. I was just listening to a TED Talk before this episode, and there was this guy who his dad wanted to go on a trip with him, and they were I can't remember what it's called, kind of like rappelling into a cave.
Okay.
And he was terrified. He was terrified to do it, but he said, I'm gonna do it because it's one of his closest friends, like prior to that, got terminal cancer, And, really sad story, but he got terminal cancer. And the last thing he told to his friend before he died was, live every day like you're dying. Kind of go live the life I wish I could live if I would have survived this. And so he said, you know what? I don't have unlimited time. We're living on borrowed time. Why not enjoy it while we're here? And so he went and did this trip with his dad. And then he ended up, he was terrified the whole time, ends up getting out. And he had the new experience, and it was a risky thing for him because he didn't know how it was going to affect him. But then he went home and realized he doesn't enjoy his job where he was at. And so he quit his job to go get a new job because he realized, taking the risk opens new opportunities for him.
And when it comes to risk taking, I feel like time is such an enemy.
Yeah.
Because it's this illusion that you just have endless amounts. You have years and years and years to do this later or that later, and really you have such a small amount of time. Think about how many older people you have met that just go, man, time flies.
Yeah.
I wish I was your age. I never want to have to say that to somebody.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I was your age.
Right. Or just, instead tell them to live it up while they're their age.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we did. Another point I wanted to hit, inaction leads nowhere.
Yep.
So if you live a routine life, nothing against I live a routine life right now. If you live a routine life, but one that you resent, one that you don't enjoy waking up for every day, and you do the same thing day in and day out, it's not going to change. Nothing's going to change by you just doing the same thing over and over again. You have to take action. You have to take initiative to change something. And that's where that risk comes in, because you might be somewhere safe and secure where it has good pay. It might have stability, good job security. You're not going to get fired. But do you enjoy it? And what's the point in living, what's the point in following your routine if it doesn't make you happy?
Right. And there's always going to be mucky days. There's always going to be, I know I'm setting myself up for a different career path, but to get there, I have to work all these 9-to-5 jobs,
right?
All these crappy, boring, hourly jobs.
Yeah.
So obviously hard work is always there, and it's not always going to be fun. But don't let that hold you back from accomplishing so much more if that's what you're going for.
Yeah.
Now, if you're comfortable with that routine, if that's what truly fulfills you, power to you.
Mm-hmm.
But just make sure that you understand that sometimes working those boring jobs are getting you where you need to go. That's great.
Yeah.
But if they're not, you need to take some action.
Yeah, because then action leads nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then my final point that I wanted to bring up is that it sets a good example. Whether it's your kids, your friends, your parents, even your siblings, it shows a good example of, chasing what you want to do in life.
Yeah.
Not settling for less than what you can be, not accepting settlement. And it allows you to share these stories and share these experiences so other people in your life can also live that way.
Absolutely.
And so, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Risk-taking is very, it's a challenging thing. It's a risk for a reason. There's emotion tied into it. There's few bits of logic tied into it, but it's the whole idea of a risk that can keep you hooked, and it generates new possibilities. You can set a good example for people, and it allows you to just live a fulfilling life.
Absolutely. I feel like everybody craves that wild spirit.
Yeah.
They just might not know how to tap into it. And, wild spirit, like that guy that goes out on a Saturday night and you don't know if you're going to end up in a different state or, just doing something wild.
Yeah.
And obviously that might be an exaggeration. I'm not saying that if you take risks, that's who you're going to be. But I know when I hear risk takers, I'm always like, yeah, let's do it,
Yeah.
And another important thing is start small.
Yeah.
Just take small risks at first, because with everything, you got to start small. And if you jump for a big risk, that's great. But if you're really uncomfortable with the idea of risk taking, start small. Take a different route to work, just see how it feels.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Well, do you have anything else you want to add to this?
Just make sure you guys don't use time as an excuse. Don't hide behind logic. If you're ever worried about it, sleep on it, because there are obviously larger risks. They don't always have to be thrill-seeking risks. They can be financial risks, really anything, Yeah,
career changing.
But you guys just got to get out there, get those risks, Start taking them. It's so much more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope you guys have a great Monday.
Happy Monday.
And an awesome week ahead of you. And thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Make sure to smash that like and subscribe.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Bye.